standing right in front of Blackland in Berlin with, over there, with one of Czech's death metal legends, Bruno from Hypnos, and
I am saving the word legend. Just keep it somewhere.
with the well-known Czech death metal vocalist from Kravator and
Somewhere
Hypnos.
known.
Somewhere known. Bruno, how are you today?
Feeling good. A little bit wasted after a long drive. We spent 10 hours in a car. But we are waiting for the show. We are waiting for our show time, and we are waiting to convince the people that we are worthy band to go and pay for a ticket and to see us live.
You brought some member back that's been with you for a long time and it's been out of the band for like almost 2 years and is now back. Pegas is back.
That's right. That's right. We are very long friends with Pegas, over 25 years since we started to play together with Kravator, and we knew each other even earlier. And our connection is strong that when I was feeling that he's kind burned out with doing Hypnos and doing the live shows, quite intense live shows as we do, I was thinking to give him a time for a break. Even he was thinking he's leaving the band. So I made a deal with a replacement drummer, which is Igor Satarot-Botko, and I offered him to join Hypnos for live sessions for nearly 2 years, and he happily agreed, which was lucky for us. And at the end of the last year, when I talked to Pegas again, and when I was asking him if he's thinking to come back, and he was happy about that possibility. So I always say, if someone in a band doesn't feel comfortable at the moment, it doesn't mean that you have to close the door, because we are friends. We have the same musical views, and we feel the music in the same way, and there is a lot of things behind us. So you can throw it away just because that someone feels tired at the moment. So Pegas is back now. He's ready to record a new album, and we are looking for the new album, because it's always new inspiration and it's always fresh blood into the band. So we are looking forward for the things that are waiting for us.
Speaking of excessive touring, you played. Do you know how many shows you played for the White Crow?
About 100, because it was released in spring 2017, which is nearly 3 years, and we do usually like 35 shows per year. That means maybe over the 100 shows all over Europe, mostly Czech Republic, of course, Slovakia, Poland. We play quite often Poland, Austria, Hungary, Germany. Last year we finally hit the Ukraine for the first time. We did 5 shows there, day by day. We hit first time Lithuania and Latvia, which makes us happy because we met the new fans. We just spread the name of Hypnos over the new countries, new territories, and it's the things that support us and that makes us stronger, and they give us power for the next fights.
With 3 years since the release of the White Crow, are you still satisfied with the record?
Yes, we are. But next time we think we will do the things a little bit different way.
In what way different?
I miss more energy and more power. So I mean the new material will be more powerful. Because White Crow was the feel of atmosphere, was the feel of, I don't want to say relax, but it was the album to think about. Just to have a wine, have a cigarette, make a dark room and listen to the album and try to understand the feel. There is sometimes like doomy atmosphere or gloomy atmosphere, I don't know how to say it. And now I feel I want to get back a little bit to my roots, to the times when I was mad for thrash metal and death metal, and when I was happy for every new album I was mad for. So I hope I will bring a little bit of that feel back into the band again. And honestly, I don't like to do the same albums. I like the difference between the albums, because as people are asking me about Kravator, for example, I tell them, hey, it's fine, it was a great period, great times, but I don't wanna write the Orthodox and Imperator songs for 30 years. I would be bored, you know. And music is changing, music is developing, and the market is developing, the fans are changing, the old ones grow up and the new ones comes. So you have to get into the new situations, and this is the aspects that affects also the Hypnos these days. And I want to make the Hypnos extreme death metal band, but in the modern times. I don't want to be a revival of Kravator. I don't want to refresh the feels that Kravator had in 90s. We are Hypnos and we are a new band doing contemporary music.
But speaking of Kravator, we met in Poland 2 weeks ago, and I bought your book, and I even understood some parts of it. There's a lot of stuff about your early days with Kravator. What comes to your mind when you first think of your beginning times with Kravator?
It was nice times. We were young, we were kids, you know. So everybody likes to think about the young times. If you speak to your grandpa, be sure he will say, it was great times when I was a kid, you know. But time's running and not waiting for anyone. So the book you are talking about is my life story book. So it's written with everything as it was or as I felt it at the certain times. So there is a big part of Kravator biography, because the life story is dedicated mostly to my musical career. Of course, there are a bit of private things, but I personally don't like to open my personal life too much to the public, because people shouldn't care about the private stuff. I'm a musician and I'm doing music, and I would prefer if they would care for the music. So that's why the focus of this book is mostly on the music. That means Kravator and Hypnos, of course.
I once talked to Vladimir from Fleshless, and he told me that he got in touch with German promoters by going to the phone booth in his street and calling some numbers he found on flyers. How did you get in touch with German promoters, or you had a German label in the 90s? Do you still remember that?
It was not easy, but it was very different times from now, and we were met for the band, and we just wanted to support it as much as possible. And we had really great manager Pedro at the time, and believe me or not, if we have seen any fanzine or magazine, or just if we got any flyer, we send the tapes on every address we get. So we were stealing the tapes from our family, from my mother, from my father. Just they have traditional national music recording on it. We steal it and recorded Kravator over it and send it. We saved all the money we had for the postage. We were covering the stamps with the soap. Maybe you know, because then when the stamp was returned back to you, the stamp could be washed out and you could use the stamp again. And I was receiving maybe 5, maybe 8 letters every day, except the weekends, every day. And it was me, it was Christopher, it was Pedro. So it was really a huge impact on the scene we just were doing. And we had a good luck that it had a feedback at the time, that we hook up with Morbid Records, with a German label, which put us to the world, what we wanted actually from the beginning. And they managed the tour for us, European tour, first time with Impel Nazarene, the next time with Cannibal Corpse and bands like that. And it was incredible support, and if we were dedicated for the band as we were, we got the results.
With Kravator and with Hypnos too, you had many co-musicians playing with you. Are you still in touch with most of them?
Not with all of them, but with many of them. Everyone has his importance for the period he was in the band, but you know, people are changing, and to make a good team that is working for decades or decades, it's not easy. So the people which left Hypnos or Kravator in the past were the people which felt the same thing just for a certain period, and then they wanted to follow their path the different way than as we felt. So that's why they left us, or it managed us to find the people who are more constant in a band. And I'm really hoping that contemporary lineup of Hypnos, it's a little bit like that it could be in the future. We are maybe for 8 or 9 years together as we are now, and if we record the Black Crow album, the next one, with the same lineup, it's gonna be the first album of Hypnos recorded in the same lineup as the album before. You know, I'm mad about it when I thinking about it, but every album or mini album we recorded with a different guitar player, and it's not good signal for the people if you are changing the members too much. You know, people have no chance to get used for the members, and I mean that one of the important things for a band to be taken seriously by the public is to have a constant lineup, to reliable lineup that you can rely on, and to make it recognizable by people. If they know, hey, this is the guitarist, I know him. But if every year is someone different, but to keep the lineup together, it's not easy thing.
Speaking of keeping the lineup together, you had an addition to your family a few months or a year ago or so. How did this affect your life?
Positively. Except the fact that our baby is not sleeping over the nights, and I have damn a little time to work on the new album. Everything else is the big happiness for all of us, and especially for me, because it's my first baby. At the age of my 50-year celebration anniversary, the baby is gonna have 1 year next week, and it makes us happy. I'm trying to spend as much time as possible with her, so I'm taking the, I don't know how you call it, roller, as much as possible. Almost every day I take her on the train and we drive somewhere, and we just work around and go back to make a relax to my wife, of course, and for me to enjoy the time with my daughter. And I love it. I really love it. It's something I never had a chance to feel before, and it makes me really happy, and it brings me positive power. Yeah. The only thing that is a bit worse, it's the time. So the day has 24 hours still, so you have to really carefully select what is important and what is less important. And I don't want to be the father that he doesn't see the baby grew up. So I just want to enjoy every possible moment of her life.
Well, Bruno, thank you very much. This was a great insight on Cravator and Hypnos. Thank you very much.
Thank you for support, guys. I hope to see you again.